Hello, my fellow YouTubers. This is Roy back again. It's been a while. Hopefully, you guys missed me. I missed all of you. Tonight's going to be an interesting video. Hello, Adam. Long time no talk, my bud. Gotta say it to you while you're on here. Hello, my fellow YouTubers. It's going to be an interesting video tonight. A couple weeks back, I got my internet worked on. Cable guy didn't want to pull a new drop from the pole to my house, but his boss showed up while he was here, and he had to. He was already telling me he was leaving, and he had to do it. So I got me some internet. So hopefully now my internet's real good. I was kind of disappointed because my broadband sort of was off in this sense, and in a way to where it was kind of like dragged behind. So let me see who else is on here. I give a shout out to. Don't let that book in the backdrop there scare you guys. I am 56. Give me a minute. We'll go ahead and we'll go through what we are looking at, and then we're gonna wind up with something very unique. I found my daughter today, my youngest daughter, she had said, "Dad, look at this. It's a crystal." Crystal? I'm like, "Where'd you get that?" She goes, "I found it in the ground." "What do you mean you found it in the ground?" "Yeah, I found it over here." She goes, "Look at this." Show me a rock with a crystal growing on the rock. "Oh, you got it." I'm like, "Oh, well, you got to take me to this spot. You got to take me to this spot." So here I am, walking with her out front of my property, and there it is. And I'm like, "What do you mean you found it right there at the surface?" She goes, "Yeah, it was just sitting right there." I said, "This rock definitely didn't come from anywhere on the surface. This is like $1 billion rock. This is crazy. It's got crystals growing out of it." So here, I started to put the pieces together. And here, I built the front porch for my wife, and I had to dig about 3 foot down with a post hole digger, and I dug up a bunch of dirt, okay? And by doing this, I made a pile of dirt. My wife says, "Oh, that dirt, that soil will be great for my plants along the hedges." So she put the dirt down along the hedges. This goes probably 50, 60 feet, probably a foot high, and you can see the mound she made. Whatever, the dirt's gone, it's being used. My daughter finds a rock with a crystal, with crystals growing out of the rock, and the crystal is unfreaking real. Looks like quartz. I'm gonna introduce you guys to this crystal rock once we get through this little demonstration here I want to show you. And this demonstration here has to do with this is a generator, 24 volt DC, 6,000 RPMs. This here is the little, it comes out like 3-phase, so it has 3 wires coming out. And we're going to get into this for a second. I have to stop for a second. You guys focus on that book right there, Sex After 50. I got that for my 50th birthday from a friend of mine. And when I opened it up, it was blank pages. Need I go any further? Blank pages, the book. No lie. But anyway, so I kept it as a memo 6 years ago when I started this learning experience. And all the pages are stuck together. There's... hello, everybody. The book. So I get this for, all the pages are blank, okay? So I guess it's a joke, Sex After 50. Bestseller. So I guess you're supposed to fill it in. Well, I started filling in with my memo notes, but they all stuck together. So the crazy thing is I took a lot of notes. You can see lots and lots of notes. And there's things here that I absorbed but never absorbed it in the practical use that I was using stuff for, but I absorbed it and put it on a shelf, I call it. It's a shelf. It's a memory shelf. So you learn, you chase a rabbit hole, and the rabbit hole is what, to me, is just learning. Okay, so each hole is a different learning of different areas. So to make a long story short, Sex After 50, great book. It has a lot of things in there that I didn't remember that I wrote down, and to bring it back to life and start using stuff is phenomenal. Let's give me 1 second. I have to get a couple pieces, hook some stuff up here. You guys here, this is one of those Edison bulbs. This is a regular fluorescent. This bulb here is pretty cool. It's got like a spring that goes along the filaments, or look like springs. And this one here is a 4.2 watt, 120 vac, 60 hertz, obviously 45 milliamps to run it. Okay. One thing I want to talk to you guys about is I got them up there and they're hot right now, but my wife turned me on to these new lights, and they're just LEDs. So they're getting rid of the fluorescents and putting the LEDs. But I'll tell you what, that LED takes some current to run, is all I'm saying. Look how bright it is. But I had it down here, and it barely would work. So that means the draw on it superseding what I'm making here with my little guy. With this little three-phase sort of generator, they're calling it. It came in this box. You guys want to get it. It's pretty cool. It's called three-phase AC generator model. It's only $8. Its output voltage is 3 volts to 24 volts. Output current, it says 0.1 amps to 1 amp. That's good amperage to get out of this little guy. And then also it said rated power 0.5 to 12 watts. Rated speed 300 to 6,000 RPMs. I did tell you that this motor here is a 6,000 RPM, 24 volt. I do have my DC generator that's going to be running this, and we're going to set you guys up to where we could watch. This side right here will be the amperage, the current. This side will be the voltage that we're putting into this right here. As this spins, this will generate a current. This voltmeter here is going to show the current that we're going to draw. We're going to show the load, and we're going to use this as a load. Let me get back a little further. We're going to show this is going to be a load, this is going to be a load, and also this motor here is a 24 volt DC motor, and we're going to fire that up as well. And then we're going to look at our draw of our amperage, and we're going to look at what we're putting in, and we're going to see if we can get more out than we're putting in. We should be able to see this through just using the meters. And get yourself these. These are $8. Go on Amazon. You'll see them. They show up. Alrighty. Give me 1 minute. I got to do one thing real quick. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This is really cool stuff. We're going to produce electricity. We're going to show the load. And then we're going to go over to this rock that I found in the ground. And trust me, this rock is blowing my mind. And we're going to talk about vibrations in the crystal, how to vibrate a crystal, and search for the crystal and the rock where the crystal grew from. Okay, the crystal grew from this rock. And what we're going to do here, obviously I live in Florida, and obviously what they say from the Gulf of Mexico, there was a meteorite that came and smashed the whole thing, made a big bowl, okay? So that means the whole state of Florida you see as a L shape is nothing but the upper rim of the crater. So there had to be a lot of heat a lot of thermal surface tension going on when the meteorite hit the Gulf, and this is what I found, and it obviously shows some cool stuff because it had to take water and a lot of evaporation, quick heat. One thing quick I want to go over, I seen a video back, they were showing in Alabama on the beach where they put like three or four rebars about 6 feet tall. They pound them in the ground, make a circle. The lightning storm comes in. They throw salt water on it. The lightning storm comes in, and the lightning will hit the rebar, and the sand itself turns into this crystal. So, what we're looking at there is a high tension transformation of minerals going from a soft texture to a solid. And the interesting thing about that is this rock, even though I want to show you something unique about the rock to where it looks like, it's growing crystals from the bottom of it and above it. So that shows me that the water supply is providing some type of thermal and a cool down for crystals to be able to biologically grow. And you're going to see layers in these crystals too. And I guess in another video we'll take a knife or a razor blade and we'll cut through the crystal because it already has its own angle. And that's where I want to do is I want to take some tuning forks and I want to vibrate, probably with my signal generator, vibrate the crystals that are in this rock and see if they conform with the frequency of this rock. And this rock obviously is a coral base. So that brings me back to Ed Lee Scallon, where what if we all have this in underneath our feet? What if underneath our feet all had, whether it's granite, whether it's coral, whether it's different composites of surface material, it's nothing but dirt. When you see the dirt in the rock, you can see the crystal is growing out of the rock around the dirt, and there had to be water. There had to be. And the beautiful thing about this is I believe that Ed had deposits where he was, where these crystals formed. Why was he in the radio? Tell me the truth. And even better, that time with radio, crystal radio, once they had crystals down to where they can get a constant pulse through a crystal, and why there's a constant pulse is because the angle the crystal was cut in. The angle of the crystal, whatever crystal it is cut in at a certain angle, it will hold that angle. And with the vibration in that crystal or light, you will notice that things will start to happen as far as electricity will show up like a piezo crystal, or our light will show up and be reflected. It's because of the angle of the crystal. Let's go ahead and give me 2 minutes. Be right back. We'll get into this demonstration here, then we'll bounce over to the rock and the crystals that came from the rock, and we'll go ahead and see if we can vibrate those suckers. Let's go ahead and turn the DC generator on. You're going to see some movement in the outside hub here, DC motor. We still have to stick this in here, okay? So there's your like 3-phase. We have 3 wires coming out. Let's go ahead and stick it in the middle. Now it's in there. I got a spring there so it doesn't vibrate so much. So right now, if you look over here, we're putting 0.20 milliamps in or out, and we're are at 1.68 volts, and you can see the 24 volt DC motor is spinning. Pretty cool, right? Let's go ahead and we're going to turn up the volume. So now we're going to be, let's just go to 10 volts. All right, nothing going on here on the amperage draw. The volts that are showing up, this meter over here is just showing the volts that are showing up. All right, let me give you guys the layout. So we're coming out of this little three-phase, and we're going into a three-phase bridge rectifier. There's right in the back are the three connections to the beginning part, or to this part here, which is coming from the generator, little generator, okay? Then you have your positive and negative. So I'm coming out of the positive, obviously. Well, basically coming out of the positive into this voltmeter on the positive side, have it up to 10 amps. And then I'm coming out the negative into the start of this guy and the start of that guy, which is the 24 volt DC motor, okay? So let's go ahead and let's plug this in, put a load on it. Nothing's going on, nothing going on. So we don't have anything going on there. Let's go over to the DC motor. I'm sure you guys can see this right here. If it's spinning or not, nothing's going on. Let's go ahead and just touch, and let's see if we can get this spinning. So there's our first load. You got some changing going on. What's going on with the changing going on with the current going up? But turn the volts up. All right, Houston, we got a problem. Let's back it up here a little bit. I see the supply here is not connected to something. Let's see where that something wire went. Alright, so that should be coming from, I believe, this. So, well, let's give it a new wire. We'll put a new wire from, that's our amperage, and that's coming out of our positive side. Now let's turn it up now. Alright, you can see now there's amperage being drawn. You can see the motors turning. Let's go back, we're at 9 volts. Let's go down. Alright, so we got no load. This is still showing something, but it's not turning. So I guess I can almost turn it by hand. Let's go up just a little bit more to like 6 volts. You can see there's a low going, but I just turned this. Look, it's turning now. Okay, you see that? So let's go ahead and go up to about 10 volts. But right now, let's look at the math. Got 10 volts power supply coming in. It's turning the prime mover. The prime mover is turning this little generator. This generator happens to be a three-phase. This three-phase is coming out, and it's going into this three-phase bridge rectifier. Coming out of the bridge rectifier, and we are firing up this 24 volt DC motor. It's a DC motor. Turning real good too. Can I stop it? Yeah, I can stop it. So let's go ahead and turn on, let's put on this load here. Now this load here, obviously not on, not enough to run a 110. Let's turn up the speed of the primary mover. Now, obviously you hear a humming. We're at 20 volts, 0.79, 0.8 milliamps. We're pulling 0.13 milliamps. No. Yeah, 0.13 amps. And over here we're hitting, can you guys see that? No. Let's get you over there. All right. Over here is the voltmeter, what we're producing, 35.2 volts. So we're going to go a little higher now. And we're going to get that light to light up. All right, so now we're at 29 volts. Let's back down a little bit. we're 24 volts. I got Edison light on. Good morning, exhibits in the house. We got the Edison light on. We have this 24 volt DC motor turning, and you can't even stop it. We are running the prime mover 24 volt DC motor at the current is 0.95. We're throwing 24.7 volts into it. So what are we pulling out? So our load right now, this is our load and this is our load. And right now we are only pulling 0.17 of an amp. Let's go ahead and put some more load on it. All right, guys? We'll come over here. We're going to turn this on. And we're not going to get that to light up. Why? Because this and that's absorbing it. But I bet if I undo the motor, you would think that lights up. It doesn't. Must be something going on there. Now this is off. Just this light's on. Let's get rid of this light. Oh, wait a minute. I get rid of that light, and this light comes on. So now we have no load. 0 on this meter. 69 volts on that meter is what we're producing. And we're at 0.60 of an amp. 0.60. And we're at 29 volts coming in. Stop turning. Turning now, but it took the power out of it. Oh, there you go. If you touch it. We're low in current. Right now we're throwing 1.20 amps into the system, into the primary mover, because it's got a lot of resistance coming on that side, on that generator. All right, let's get over to the rock, guys. The most exciting part of the day. Here we go. What the heck do we have here? So this rock, let's get a good, real close look at this rock. I want you guys to examine this thing. So I accidentally broke this off. And this was the crystal. Look at the layers. Hey, Inder, Kuma. Hello, hello, hello in the house. Look at the dirt on it still from where it was grown on the rock. Look at the layers. Feel like I could shave them. Look at the rock. So it still has this stuff attached to it. You can see it's growing out of the rock on the top. And this side too as well. And I don't know what would be the top or the bottom. But you can see that this has a lot of green in it. And this green, I don't know if it's copper. It's actually, you can see green in the crystal area on the top here. It's like the transformation of this is like a plant food, I would almost call it. Like an algae of some sort, or green from an element that had these crystals growing. Now remember, I don't know if you guys just tuning in, this rock here was found that I dug up building a porch on my property. So what I'm trying to tell everybody here is that all of our ground that has rock has these pockets. And I would believe that water is the culprit of these crystals that grow in the pockets. Look at that crystal. Is that beautiful? Look at these little guys. It's amazing. And I want to show you something really amazing with these tuna forks I got over here. So look at this side. Now, whether this is the top or the bottom, I'm not sure. But guess what I'm doing tomorrow? I'm digging on my property tomorrow. I'm going to find me some deposits of this stuff. Look, it's breaking off in my hands. Look at that. It's just stuff I put it in my mouth. It's like coral rock almost. I got to get this analyzed. This is crazy. It's consuming me. My daughter found this rock on our property, and it's from dirt that I dug up building my porch. Look at the dirt stuck in there. So, if you take a tuna fork, start smacking a tuna fork, and you touch the crystal, I barely feel it. I barely feel it coming through, but when I do that and touch the rock, there's a harmonic. Now I feel it through the crystal and real sharp through the crystal, and it's still going. Smack it on the ground. I'm just going to touch the rock and just feeling the crystal. There's a vibration, enormous vibration coming out of that. And you can feel there's a resonance going on, or some type of harmonic that's coming out of the crystal. Let's try one more thing on earthly tones. So when you start getting into pianos and harmonics and guitars, and especially banjos really amaze me. If you hang a dozen of banjos from your ceiling, and if you were to take one banjo and strike a chord or create a pitch, you will have all the banjos activated alive. They all come alive. Every single one will all of a sudden have its own harmonic thing going on, and you can hear it. As soon as you stop the banjo, everything else you can hear. And it's really, really cool, because with sound, there's I like that, Adam. Can't do it right this second because it's going to be the other side. But look what I got in my hand. It's Edley Scallon's two schematics, 1.5 inch thick stock. So what I noticed about dealing with piezo crystals and with frequencies and with tuning forks and with low frequencies and the ground and the kind of connection between the vibration and the ground itself. If all of our ground below our feet have rock base with crystals growing in it, this crystal, you would think, would be a way to connect to the rock, to balance out the rock, to levitate. Why do I think that? Because all I have to do is find a resonant frequency of this crystal. Okay? And once I do that, I believe that this frequency, because it grew from this rock, the nutrients, the minerals from this rock, the nutrients being the dirt around it, and the minerals being the rock itself, you can see the green in it and the beige, reflect its output into this crystal, where the crystal crazy. That's how it's set there. That was part of that. This crystal should be a perfect tuner to this rock. And when I like to try some examples on try to levitate this rock by tapping into the frequency of this crystal. Vibration is everything, Indar. Very good. Let's go ahead and we're going to smack this big old PMH. Uh-oh, I killed it. What happened? I shorted it out. Did you see that? One thing I learned about tuning forks is you have a base. And as you touch something from at the base, see where my hand grabs in the tuning fork? At this base here, you're not going to affect the vibration. But as you take your thumb and move up, you will start to see the vibration will change, and that's how you can tune into something to find a resonance between the tuning. I would call it a broadband, meaning like this tuning fork has a number. This number is a broadband range of what the frequency can be. And with it being the highest of what? 512 C range, that means you could touch the bottom here and you can change it. And as you go up, you bring it to 0. So you can actually find that, touch it, which is vibrating, and then you can work your thumb up and you can shorten the frequency. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it's still going. So let's go ahead and do that with Ed's PMH, because I think Ed's PMH has something to do with that. Now we're going to touch the top part. I'm vibrating. Nope. It's a little too heavy for me to do as this demonstration, but what I want to say is that PMH there, I like that, Indar. Yes. Atoms, quarks, vibrations, base order. Base order, I'm not familiar with that, but it's all about the base. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the videos tonight. Obviously, once I watch back, I'll see if everything is slurring. But it seems like no problems with the internet, walking around. This rock is phenomenal. This is a today thing. And if you came in the video late, go back to the beginning, rewatch it. You'll see the storyline behind this. Beautiful, beautiful. It's crazy. So if we send like a Tesla coil vibration in the ground, the dirt, all we see is dirt and think dirt. It's nothing about the dirt. It's the material underneath the dirt. The dirt only goes down so far, guys. It's topsoil. Then you have materials like this, like rock and crystals. And if you're vibrating the ground, think about that. If you know your ground you're on, like Ed Lee Scallon, he knew his ground. He picked his location. He knew that coral was close to the surface. He knew the vibration. He probably found a pocket. I'm in North Florida, and look at this pocket that's underneath my house here. I can't wait to dig in the ground. I want more of this. It may not give me riches, but in my mind, this is crazy. Crazy. All I want to do right now is marry this crystal here. I want to vibrate this crystal until I see it start to glow, or I start to see this rock start to shake. If this rock starts shaking from this crystal, when I'm vibrating that crystal across the room, guess what we have? We have solid connection. Solid, like I'm pushing it across the room with my finger. Peace out, my bro hams. Hopefully you guys like the video. Leave your comments. Love the comments. Bing, bang, boom. Adam, I will try 42.2 kilohertz. Noah, what do you mean, which is the AC? I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.